Okay, welcome to California Traditions at San Juan Bautista, and today we're putting together an Adobe forge, a Hispanic style Adobe forge, and uh, the Hispanic style of forge was a little bit different than the angled style of forge where you have a cast iron fire pot, and in that the Hispanic forge, instead of having the air coming up underneath into a fire pot, they would have an airspace coming in from the side, and so so anyway, we're gonna put a tube in here, and then and we'll put this stick in it, and then we'll put an Adobe around here, and we'll pull a stick out, and then that'll leave us an air tube to our fire, and but anyway, with the blacksmith bellows, you have to have a more or less constant flow of air. You can't have an intermittent air and have a fire with enough intensity to be able to forge. And so that means you have to have a two-space type of a form of bellows. So that one chamber of the bellow is pumping air, the other is taking in air, and the earliest bellows seem to have been cylindrical type bellows like this, and but they're put on so that they were at this angle, and there would be an assistant who would sit there and operate the bellows, pumping one after the other, and so you would have to have an assistant that would be sitting there just doing nothing but blowing the air. And so I figured that if I just hooked them up in tandem like this, well then I could just operate it with one person, and I don't know if anybody ever did this, but they could have done it because it's still primitive technology. And so that works pretty well, and it's always a little bit more complicated when you have to have an assistant blowing the air because you can never do it to your satisfaction, and so if you can be blowing the air yourself, well then that's probably better for harmony in the blacksmith shop. And so anyway, it's really a very simple type of a mechanism. It's you just have the openings here, and so just a piece of leather there that's just hanging over that hole, and then also have the same system here, and it's just a simple flap of leather, and then so the air pressure will open and close these valves, and so anyway, and they'll just go into this chamber here, and so while one side's blowing air into the chamber, and then subsequently out here the other side's taking in air, and then so alternatively we can get a fairly constant airflow. Okay, maybe I'll go ahead and tie this back up.
You're just using rawhide there?
Yeah, this is just a rawhide string that's we dampen a little bit to soften it, and then when it dries, it'll be shrink a little bit and be hard. And
Mm-hmm.
clumsy fingers, I guess.
Looks good on this side.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Want to throw some leaves on there?
We'll blow these leaves around. Oops.
Oops.
I guess we're done with that anyway. So.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about this Adobe forge is you can do the whole thing without any metal, and just out of wood and Adobe and leather, and so kind of paradoxical in a way, I guess. You can get a forge for forging metal, but not use any metal in its construction. So I did use some metal, but theoretically you don't have to use any metal in it at all. We'll get some local San Juan Adobe going here. little bit of grass. Hope we keep it from cracking too much as it dries. We'll use this stick as a form for airway. You want to get kind of a cone shape here. Okay, and there we have it. We'll need to let it dry before we use it, and so that'll probably take a good couple weeks or so. And then once we get it dry, we'll fire it up. And so to be continued when we get it dry and when we can fire it up. And